What's up guys, and welcome back to our last video of our PhilPsychology series and the mind-body problem. Today we will cover two theories which are really promising at solving the mind-body problem, namely Connectionism and Embodied, and Extended Mind Theory. Let's just dive right into it. The main claim of Connectionism is that mental states are states in a neural network. This means, in other words, that mental states are in a network full of neurons, dendrites, axons, somia, and neurotransmitters. Here the concept of backpropagation is really important. It basically says that a machine, for example, makes random adjustments through weights and units and sees and assesses if the outcome becomes better or not. It's basically a trial and error process. Units in this sense receive input and put out output. This is also called gradient descent learning. Another important fact is that information processing is due to a parallel way of information processing, which is similar to the way our brain processes information. So for example, if a neuron dies, then this doesn't have any implications on the processes. So we can see that connectionism is a more biologically realistic way of information processing. However, we can oppose to that it is a really brain-centric way of seeing the mind. Which brings us to the other theory of the embedded and embodied mind theory. I will also talk about the extended mind theory in a bit. So what does the embodied and embedded mind theory tell us? It basically says we can't just separate the mind from the brain and the environment. So mental states are heavily influenced by the body and the environment it lives in. This makes sense in an evolutionary and biological way, because we always have been adjusting to the environment around us as a response to it. By coming to the extended mind hypothesis, we have to need 4 criteria met so something can be regarded as a mental state. These 4 criteria are the parity principle, trustworthiness, accessibility, and availability. I will talk about each really quick. The parity principle says that something is regarded as part of the cognitive process if it can also have done by the brain. Secondly, it must be available at each given moment. Thirdly, you have to think of it as trustworthy. This is a rather subjective view on it. Lastly, it has to be accessible when it's needed. However, we rarely find any examples which fulfill all these 4 criteria. So in other words, we also don't find any extended things which are part of our mental state. Alright, all good guys. We've covered a lot. I want to give you a short summary about all the theories we have covered in the 3 videos. We started with the substance dualism, which says that there are 2 substances, thinking and the extended body, which are distinctive from each other. But to explain the interaction between each other, we bring God into the game, which makes this unscientific. Next, we talked about idealism and monism. Maybe there's only the mind and only secondary properties. However, properties such as height or temperature are still primary properties, even if they are perceived differently. Moreover, there's the permanency of object, where God comes into the game, which makes it again unscientific. Next, we have behaviorism, which is the first scientific way of approaching the mind-body problem. They are really concerned about the stimulus and the response. However, they don't think about the black box, about the mind. In the second video, we started with the mind-body identity theory. It stated that mental states are identical to certain brain states. The main problem with it is that mental states are multiple realizable, which means that they can exist without any brain state, and that also brain states can exist without any mental state. We concluded the second video with functionalism, which stated that the mental states have a causal wall between input, output, and other mental states. But this is rather brain-centric. That's also the case with connectionism. Its main claim is that mental states are part of a neural network. Lastly, we covered the embedded and embodied mind theory. Its main claim is that mental states are heavily influenced by the body and the environment it exists in. The extended mind hypothesis says that there are 4 criteria which have to be met so something is regarded as a mental state. However, up to this day, we haven't found anything which fulfills this criteria, so there's nothing extended which is part of our mental life. That's it. We made it to the end. I hope you could follow me through the journey with the mind-body problem. Next we will have another topic in this channel, so stay tuned. If you have any topic recommendations, please feel free to drop them down below in the comments. Stay tuned and see you next time. Bye!